In some cases, it's not possible to split the loads when we measure them. For instance, the outbuilding mains here has got a pool pump, a freezer, as well as a electric geyser that is on a timer. We can see in each one of those, we can see the freezer at night running. The geyser timer is on from 5 to 7 in the mornings, as well as from 6 to 8 in the evenings. You can see the geyser timer over there. And then the pool pump is on from 10 to 5 in the afternoon. We can confirm the pool pump times by looking on the second phase of the pool pump. You can see from 10 to 6 in the evenings. That is when the pool pump's running. So we've got the problem that if we use a solar fraction for reducing the pool pump, that everything would be reduced by that solar fraction. So in this case, we've got a few options. Either we can leave the pool pump or split the loads completely by incorporating maybe in our raw data, maybe adding in the setup logging, maybe adding another line in there which we call pool pump, and adding a clean line which we can simulate from zero. Or the other option that we have is we can use it as is, but we've got to keep in mind the 3 loads and simulate it accordingly. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to simulate everything into one. So what I want to do is I want to reduce the geyser. So I'm going to add a technology of a solar geyser, and I'm going to look at the efficiency of the pool pump. What we want to do here is it's a 3-phase pool pump, so we're going to add a VSD to that option. The VSD is going to cost around about 3,000 Rand, just a straight VSD, not a VSD pool pump or any of those other fancies. And what I'm going to do on the technology side is I'm going to add the cost of that VSD to the solar geyser. So the solar geyser would have been 25,000 Rand on its own, or let's maybe call it 22,000 Rand, as it's a 150 litre solar geyser. And let's add the cost of the VSD to that. So let's make it 23,000 Rand. Okay. It's not going to help us to do the solar fraction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a resimulate of the load. So I'm going to go efficient override, take the biggest load for argument's sake, the solar geyser, and put that as the base, and then we work around that. So from, I would say, 5 in the mornings, we're going to put, let's say, 30%, or let's make it 15% of that, and 10% over weekends. And let's add in the evenings, around about 6 again, let's add another 30%. Let's do 20% there and 10% over there, for argument's sake. Okay, if we look at the line form, this should be our solar geyser portion of it. We haven't factored in the freezer, so if we want to, we can add 1% or 2% of the total power for the freezer. If we go back to the non-efficient side, we can see our freezer is running about, I would say on average, about 100 watts, sometimes 190, sometimes 80. So I would say let's average about 100 watts. So that would mean of a 2 kilowatt load, if we want to go 100 watts, it's 0.5%. Let's quickly have a look and see where we are. Yeah, that's it's a 10 watts, so it's a 5%. Let's add 5%, see where we are. The 5% is 100 watts. So let's do that for the freezer everywhere. Okay, so that becomes 20. That becomes a 15. So that becomes a 25. That becomes a 15. Okay. So if we look at it now it's got 100 watts everywhere. So this would, more represent the freezer combined with a solar geyser on the non-efficient side. The only thing we're still missing is the VSD pool pump. So to calculate the VSD pool pump, I'm going to first start on the phase where the pool pump's on its own. I'm going to go VSD, and the cost is 1,000 Rand. Over here we can use a simple solar fraction. So I'm going to go 75%, and it should drop it to about 140. A VSD pool pump should drop the pool pump easily by 75%. And yeah, so now it's 140 watt on this phase, so I'm happy with this. So we would like to see about 140 watts at added between 10 when the pool pump is running and let's say 6 in the evening. So from 10 to 6 the pool pump, we need to add 140 watts to it. So we go back to this one, here we go, and from those times, from 10 we need to add 7%, so that means we're on 12. Okay, and up to 6 in the evening. If we want to add further 7% to that, it becomes 32, and that one will become 22%. Right, so this should be representative of what the freezer plus the new solar geyser plus the pool pump would be. And then we just got to remember to do that to the last phase as well. Yeah, we can see we've got some other loads as well, which I'm not going to be too worried about. Now that you guys know how to do this, I'm just going to add or apply a straight solar fraction, which wouldn't be correct if you were to do it in the highest amount of detail, but for now that's fine. So I'm going to do 75% solar fraction. The technology is a VSD and 1,000 Rand. There we go. You can look at the efficient side, and we should be about 140%. That's it, 140 watts. Okay, so that is what you do when you have multiple loads on a line. You go from where it was. The cost is the combination of them, and the technology combines all three of them.